Hello, everyone, and welcome to Identity Insights by Indicio. This is a show dedicated to bringing you the latest news and unpacking new developments in the digital identity community. Today, I'm joined by James Schulte to discuss Kuppingercole's European Identity and Cloud Conference and why you should look into joining the next one. Thanks for making time for me today, James. Would you like to tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for having me here, Tim. Happy to talk about it. It was really exciting to be there at the conference. I was excited that it was in Berlin this year. I used to live in Berlin a couple years ago, so was thrilled to be there. So the Kuppingercole EIC event is Europe's leading digital identity and cloud conference. So a lot of experts from around the world, specifically in Europe, come to talk about the digital identity and cloud-related projects that they've been working on. A lot of vendors from all over the world come to meet to learn about products, new capabilities, emerging technologies. And a big topic this year has been decentralized identity, verifiable credentials, self-sovereign identity, everything in that area. So it was exciting to have all of those minds in the same room talking about these topics and to learn more about everything else that's going on and to hear about exciting new things coming through the pipeline.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, what is the typical audience for this event, right? It's about identity and cloud. Have you been in the past, or is this your first time going?
So this is my first time going. I know members of our team have gone to previous ones. The typical audience, it was a nice mix of both technical and business marketing. A lot of different functions within companies were there. A lot of vendors there that had booths, some great demos of their products. You could tell there were procurement teams there looking to connect with other providers to implement new services and functionality into their current systems. So there were a lot of different types of people there that were there to learn more. There were a lot of government related individuals that were there looking to learn more about new systems that they could use to solve citizen-related identity challenges, especially in Europe with IDAS 2.0 coming out, the European Identity Framework, and some digital identity-related initiatives in Europe. So that was certainly a hot topic, and a lot of people, looking to learn more about that. So I think that just about anyone from any role could come to this conference and really get a lot out of it.
All right, that sounds super interesting. If we could take a step back, just into the kind of the government types, what are those, if you wouldn't mind breaking down the European standards and stuff that they're looking to, use identity solutions to solve? What are they looking at over there?
Yeah, so don't quote me on this, but IDAS 2.0 is currently in review or in process. And essentially what that is a new framework for digital identity across Europe, making it easier for participating member states to enable their citizens to have the ability to take their identities across borders and have it be used for different types of citizen services and essentially make life easier for people in Europe. The ability to have your digital identity on your phone or mobile device and be able to use it in different capacities throughout the European continent. So a lot of different discussions going on about what standards, what protocols they'll be using to make that possible. An exciting part about those conversations is that there's a lot of decentralized identity related principles that have gone into those discussions. So the idea that you as an end user or you as an individual can have control over your personal data and control over your identity and where you use that have come into play. So that's a exciting aspect about it. So in terms of decentralized identity, it's a very promising framework. So we're excited to see where that goes and how much of the decentralized related aspects of that are implemented in that.
All right, that sounds super useful. So when you say identity, just to clarify, that would be like, your driver's license or passport, that kind of information that they're trying to share across borders?
Yeah, those are some really good examples. There's some cool use cases going on in Europe with diplomas. The
Okay.
ability to study in one country and have, bring your academic record with you to another country. So yeah, all sorts of identity related documents. So driver's license, the ability to have that on your phone, digital travel credentials. So as you travel throughout the world or within Europe, digital credentials that make that travel process smoother. So there was a great session from a gentleman from the government of the Netherlands, from I believe the Digital Ministry of Innovation, something along those lines, talking about some use cases and work they're doing in the Netherlands regarding digital travel credential and how they're looking to use that to make travel more seamless, so to say. So some really cool projects like that.
All right. That sounds awesome. That sounds way better than trying to, keep track of your passport as you travel around. So
that's for sure.
awesome. Sorry, that was awesome information. Going back to the conference, how big was it? How many people do you think were there? If you could, ballpark a guess, and right, obviously the Netherlands was there. How many different countries did you count, if you were counting, or
oh
if you
man,
noticed?
yeah. There were people from all over the world. Obviously, a lot from Europe, but yeah, I mean, just thinking of the conversations I had from Germany, obviously, Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Slovenia. There are people from South America there. There are people from Nordic countries, Canada. Yeah, a couple from Japan, India,
Wow.
Northern Africa. So really cool to see so many countries coming together to talk and discuss and to share findings and what they've been learning. So yeah, I don't know how many people were there total. It was a hybrid event, so there were people attending online, a couple hundred online watching live as these sessions were being live streamed, and then a couple hundred, I'd say over 500 in person, maybe 600-700. But
Wow.
yeah, it was really it was busy. The main floor with all the booths was jam packed. The sessions were pretty full. A lot of people, I think, were really excited to be back in person talking to each other.
That's awesome. Wow. So yeah, when they say European identity in cloud, it really just meant everybody, apparently. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Did you go by the booths too much? What was going on there? Any booths that stuck out to you as like that's a really cool product, or we should learn more about what they're doing?
Yeah, so we had some really good conversations with some of the vendors at the booths. They were coming mostly from the traditional identity management, software service space, and so it was we had some really interesting conversations where they were trying to figure out, okay, with our services that we offer, with federated identity and traditional identity management systems, what role will verifiable credentials play in that, or what does decentralized identity do to that current business model? And it was cool having those discussions and seeing as they realized, it doesn't necessarily mean complete undoing of traditional business models, but an enhancement of that. Bringing in verifiable credentials to enhance current systems, reduce a lot of that redundancy and friction caused by those. For example, passwordless login. That's a service that they could still be a provider of, or reducing friction in onboarding or for KYC through bringing in some of those decentralized capabilities. So it was cool seeing the merging of those two worlds come together and having those conversations. So any particular vendors that were great to talk to? There's some really great small consulting companies from Germany specifically, who I think were very forward thinking, who've been watching the decentralized identity space closely. And it was great to hear that just from their customers that they've been working with, they're getting a lot of feedback and demand to learn more about this technology. So I think just in the last couple of years I've been in the space, the word has spread really fast. It's picking up, and traditional vendors and industries that you wouldn't necessarily think would be having these conversations yet are already having those conversations. So you can definitely tell there's an acceleration. So
All right, that's awesome. That's also pretty cool that they didn't see you as like a direct competitor and just kind of shut down, didn't want to talk to you, but they saw, some good to be had from, talking to you and seeing what was going on in the decentralized field. So that's cool to hear.
Yeah, of course. And what I think is interesting is that, that transition from what some might call Web 2.0 to Web 3.0, however that's defined, um, is that a lot of people aren't just going to scrap legacy systems or legacy business models or traditional business models. There's going to be, that transition period, or there's going to be that time where those two technologies have to be integrated together, which I think is great. And I think there's opportunity there. It's going to be a step-by-step phased approach. It's not just going to happen overnight, right? And so, figuring out ways to make those technologies compatible and fit together and be able to integrate, I think is great for end users as well. Who, yeah, if that makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense and sounds awesome. Do you think we're pretty close to, or do you think we are in that transition phase already where a lot of people are, looking to add it right now, or they're thinking maybe in a couple of years we'll start to add decentralized to our existing product?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it was interesting talking with some vendors who think maybe, oh, this technology, oh yeah, it'll be here in 5 to 10 years. And we tell them about use cases and some of the current capabilities, and they're like, oh my gosh, I thought that this was all conceptual or theoretical. I didn't realize that this technology was here right now. And so I think that was a major theme of this conference, was talking about the real implementations, the real use cases, and not just ones in the test phase or pilot phase, but ones that are actually in production phase, solving real problems, generating revenue, cutting costs for companies. When people learn about those use cases, they realize, oh my gosh, this is here now. The pieces are there now. We can pick these up and build with them now and create real solutions now. So there was a mix. There were some who are still in that line of thinking of like, this is way out. This isn't even there yet. And there are the others who are realizing, oh my gosh, there is a huge opportunity to jump in now because it's there now. So
yeah, that's super cool. And that sounds like a unfortunate but eye-opening moment if they realize, oh my god, this is here and we need to get on that wagon. So I know that you also went to EIC to actually do a presentation with Indicio's CEO Heather Dahl. I have that pulled up. It was how to use the framework of trusted data ecosystems to simplify building your own decentralized identity solutions. If you could real quick, just, what was that talk about in a couple sentences, and how was that received? And was there any, conversation after the fact or questions that, came up after that you thought were pretty interesting?
Yeah, it went well. I think it was a really relevant conversation or a presentation to give. What we did in this presentation was walk the audience through exactly what we do with our customers here in Indicio. When a customer comes to us, or we're introduced to someone and they're trying to figure out how decentralized identity will fit to their specific use case or their specific business challenge that they're trying to solve, what approach we take to do that. And what Indicio does really well at is taking something very complicated and complex and making it very simple. So with our customers, we literally walk them through that basic trust triangle, what we call the trust triangle, with the issuer, the holder, and the verifier. We examine their use case, and we sit down with them and say, okay, who is going to be issuing the credential? Who is going to be holding it? Who is going to be verifying it? Literally just that. And a lot of times the customer will come to us and they'll have a million different use cases or different ways that this can solve. They have so many things that they want to do, and we say, okay, let's start at step one on that first POC. So identifying those roles, and then getting your prototype, testing it, and then building it up step by step. So this idea of evolving to scale rather than just trying to solve at scale from the get-go, and how we've had a lot of success doing that. What we've seen is a lot of people in the space will try to tackle a grand problem and really interesting use cases, but they'll go at it trying to tackle it all in one fell swoop, when in reality it's one of those things that has to be done in a step-by-step phase or a step-by-step manner. So yeah, it's just like if it's too complicated from the get-go, you just create a lot of roadblocks for yourselves, and it's hard to execute on the project. And so yeah, I think another point in our presentation was, for your POC or for your prototype, if at your company, if you're trying to make the business case to your innovation team to get the budget to build your solution that you're looking to build, identifying very clearly what that big pain point is that you're trying to solve. Because if you're not solving a pain point, then it's not a good solution, right? Another aspect of it was that some people come in and say, okay, how are we going to make money with this product? Well, if you are tackling a very painful challenge and it's a good solution, it will make money. A lot of people see the dollar signs just in the revenue that could be generated from that solution. And that's true, it can do that, it can generate income in that sense. Another aspect is that you have to consider the cost savings, the increased customer experience, the saving of time. So there's a lot of different ways to quantify the value generated by a decentralized identity solution. So those are just other aspects to consider when developing a solution. So yeah, most of our presentation was framed in that mindset of what do we do with our customers to walk them through from very beginning to launching to production. So.
All right, awesome. And how was that received? Did people seem to be like, oh, cool, and we're again the same people in the crowd that were like, oh my God, it's here today? Or what kind of questions and response was there to when you were done?
Yeah, so in my conversations afterward, it was great hearing from people saying, that really resonated with us, because we've, in the past tried to tackle a huge problem, and we didn't do that phased approach, and it either failed, or there were a lot of setbacks that made it harder than it had to be. And so they one person told me that it was refreshing to hear that simple keep it simple, stupid, kind of that mindset, and how that can be really successful. So yeah, I think it resonated well, and talking about the real life use case that we had done with the government of Aruba and CETA, I think opened a lot of eyes to people who maybe didn't know that there were production solutions out there, or solutions in the real world, in the wild, so to say. So I think there was some surprise of, whoa, it's here, and talking through we started simple with that and scaled up. So.
All right, very cool. Sorry, so it looks like we are coming to the end here. So if someone else, another company, or just an individual was thinking about going to the conference, what advice would you give them? What would you say, you can really take away from it, and why would you want to be there?
Yeah, oh man. Well, I highly recommend going. It was an awesome event, and hats off to the Kuppingercole group for hosting that. Really, really well done. For those going, I just recommend keeping an open mind and meeting all sorts of new people, learning about what other projects are going on. It's a great place to network and to make connections, and to share ideas and learn about what else is going on out there. I think especially in this space where there is a lot of collaboration and a lot of cooperation between companies and organizations, especially when it comes to protocols and standards that make these solutions interoperable, which ultimately drive adoption, that communication and collaboration is absolutely critical. And working with the community and being active in those discussions, I think, is ultimately what helps everyone win and drive adoption of this technology that is great for businesses as well as the consumers on the other end. So go with an open mind, come ready to learn, come ready to talk and to collaborate.
All right, awesome. Well, yeah, with that, we are out of time. Thank you again for joining me today, James. We'll be keeping an eye out to see if there's a recording of your presentation, and if that gets posted, we'll make sure to have a link in the description. James has also recently written a blog about the recent White House declaration for the future of the internet. So if you'd like to check that out, you'll also find that link in the description as well. To learn more about EIC and how you can become involved in the next one, you can check out their website. We'll also have that link in the description. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please leave a comment below and we'll be sure to check that and get back to you. Thanks again, James. Is there anything that you'd like to plug?
Great question. Yeah, check out the Indicio node operator program. Also, if you're looking to test any of your decentralized identity solutions, we've got DemoNet and our Indicio testnet, which are both free to use. We also can give you access to the Indicio mainnet. You can apply to be a transaction endorser there as well. We have low set fees for that, so feel free to reach out and we can get you connected to that. Help you get building. So yeah, thanks, Tim.